Hi, welcome to HeKate's Crossing. Okay, you know that when I unbox, I then have a look at what decks I can pair this tarot or oracle deck with. Now, this was quite hard because there was a lot of decks in my collection where I just didn't feel it worked for me. Color-wise, energetically, this was quite a bit of a struggle. So I've had a little bit of a look-see through of my decks, and actually quite interesting because of it being sort of a pippish deck. My first thoughts actually was the Alexandre Musruck, his Lenormand cards. Color-wise goes really well, so it'll be interesting to see what messages I get and how I could use that, because I could also use Alexandre Musruck, his Kipper cards as well. So I feel because that same sort of look, I thought it would go really well with it. I mean, look at that colorways. Looks amazing. So it'll be interesting. So I'm going to look at that and see how that goes in a minute. But my other first initial thought was the Faery Forest by Lucy Cavendish. Okay, this I think goes really well as well. It sort of gives it that sort of look. Okay. Other decks I thought would go quite well with it would be the Enchanted Map. It does have sort of a goblin card to it. There are some other cards. It sort of just gives you that. I know they're shiny, but it does sort of give you that same sort of colorways. Maybe. I feel like this would go, I mean, look at that home card. I feel like definitely has that spirit of place. So it definitely feels like it gives it that sort of feel to it. So yeah, definitely feel like that there. So that's another deck I definitely look at. Okay, so and then I looked at the Healers of the Earth. Again, it's got that sort of same sort of energy about it. That same sort of fairy, fae, goblin type energy. Sort of gives it a lightness to the dark. It sort of gives it that balance, I think would be quite cool. Now I did think of one more deck, so I want to have a look at that, and this is There Will Always Be Light by There Will Always Be Light by Hand Me That Pencil. It's a New Zealand artist. So pulling out those cards there. Right, so I don't know, there's something about this deck here, her imagery, gives it that sort of foresty, I don't know, feel to it, maybe. I mean, there might be a few tarot decks that actually go with it that I could use, but I really wanted to look at sort of an oracle combinations. So I think this deck here really goes well with it as well. I don't know why, it just feels... So let's have a look. Now that we've looked, I've pulled all the cards out. Let me have a look. Let's pull a tarot card. Okay, for me, if I was doing the Kipper or the Lenormand, I know that I'm going to pull at least 2 or 3. I'm going to pull 3 cards, I think. So even if I pull one tarot card, so say we get the Chariot, which is about direction, right? And say I pull the Lenormand, I'm definitely going to pull 3 cards. Yeah, so we've got the about direction. And so we've got the Coffin, which is about things ending. Then we've got the fox, which is about being cunning and sly. So we need to be quite clever how things end, maybe. And here we've got the star. So it talks to me, this is about the spirituality, but it's also about a sense of the, you know, things being good does feel like good fortune, does feel like things will sort out. So again, we get that sense of victory in this whole thing. So even though we might have this thing about being things ending and needing to be a little bit clever about the whole situation, everything's going to turn out a-okay. It's going to be, you know, there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Just quickly, I quite like that. Okay, so let's look at another card. So here we get the Seven of Junk, which is like the Seven of Pentacles. So we're talking of things about a sense of what do we want to bring into our life right now. And we've got Queen of Poles, so it seems to be about nurturing the ambition. So this could be about bringing, in a sense, something to do with our energy, our desires. So let's have a look here with the oops. I love just mucking around. I'm just showing you my little bit of a process in deciding which decks I'm going to use in a reading, maybe. So here we've got a pleasant letter, something to do with something to do with the court. So something legalities. It does talk about murky thoughts. So it does maybe, so a letter arrives in some way. A pleasant letter. I don't feel like it's going to be that great, but because I feel like it's going to maybe cause some confusion. A good letter from the court's going to cause some confusion. And this could be a sense about nurturing the energy, the creative energy, with what do I want to bring into my life, creative energy, and yet there's going to be a letter from the courts. Ooh, legality letters, something legal maybe come through, and it's going to cause a sense of confusion. Okay, so that's something for me to think about. Okay, so I'm not quite sure I quite like that, but anyway, it's quite sort of straight to the point. Definitely works energetically. Definitely like those. Okay, so let's put them to one side. Okay, so let's have a look. Oh. Does feel like there's a sense of destiny or fate. You know, am I going to take action, or am I just going to surrender and let things be to the situation? King of Pots. So it definitely feels like it's a bit of a player coming up, maybe a little passion, creative energy, an adventure of some sort. Dealing with consequences of actions I'm getting here. Oh, that's interesting. So let's look at the Enchanted Map and see what we feel about this. So here we've got stuck in the mud. So it does feel like, again, we got that wheel effect. So we're going around and around in circles. Feels like it's a balancing act. It's interesting with the Justice card. And it could be about making things secure. Are we staying at home or going on a new adventure? It's interesting. I love the colorways in that. I reckon they look really, really cool. And I need to bring them a little bit forward so you can sort of see. I love the colorways in that. Oh, I like that. That's quite cool. Okay, so remember, I'm just doing quick, looking at it anesthetically, you know, looking at it, what it appears like, how does it feel, and to me the Enchanted Map definitely feels good. Okay, so let's have a look at the Faery forest. Okay. Night pole, so it definitely feels like things are moving quite quickly in the situation. Whatever's going on, it's going to be moving quite quickly. Ooh, it's going to feel like things are going to be a bit of a destruction. Just feel like things are going to be destroyed. So as things move quite quickly, it does feel like the walls are crumbling around us, but yet we've got the light coming, our wishes coming into fruition, really, I feel like. Okay, so let's have a look here at the Faery forest. Cool. Oh, and the card that popped out here was the Trickster. Oh, straight away I'm sort of getting maybe things are not always as they seem. Just dropped all the cards. That was really clever for it. Come back to that in a minute. But anyway, so we've got the Trickster here, which talks about deceit, betrayal, and guilt. So yes, might feel as though a bit of a doom and gloom sort of situation. It does feel as though somebody's not being as honest as we'd like them to be. So we're definitely feeling here. Really feeling this is the trick. Let's tell us a bit more information, please. Okay, so here we've got the elf. Struck, enchanted, beguiled, and enspelled. So maybe we're feeling as though, yeah, things are not always as they seem. Why am I getting such a strong... So even though things may feel as though they're doom and gloom, maybe it's not as bad as we feel. You know, it might be deceit. We might have been feeling a bit deceived, betrayed. But it's not actually what we see. It's an interesting combination of cards here. So here we've got the Green Witch, and it's got so here we've got the sense of things coming into fruition. So it's definitely a 3 card. If I'm going to do 3 tarot with this deck, it's definitely 3 oracle. I love that look. That's quite cool as well. They sort of seem to go really well together. I'm liking how these sort of sit. Okay. Ooh. So the Fool's thrown out. And then we've got the 6 of Feathers. So it tells us there's definitely new beginnings. And there's a shift. So there'll be some obstacles and things put in our way, but it could be about a shift in perception, a shift in our movement forward. Sense of coming together. Okay, so let's have a look here. And using the Healers of the Earth Oracle. So let's have a look. Card number 1. So yes, things could be a little bit stormy. Does feel like it's a bit chaotic. A lot of obstacles and things may be in the way. So the ice thaws. So it does feel like there's a sense of relief. Better days ahead. It does tell us that things are sort of starting to get better in the process. And it does talk to us as though from the stars there's a beyond the veil. So it does feel like there's an encounter. It does feel like there's some angel guidance, maybe some guides. So it does feel like things are moving in a better direction. I like those two. They look really good together. Remember, I'm only doing really quick, just having a look at the cards, seeing what they look like together. It's interesting. Just having a look at different pairings. Okay, so let's have a look. My last one here. I mean, they could go with any deck, really. Depending on my mood. Actually, thought of the Blessed Bee cards too. So here we've got Justice again. Ooh, Ace of Junk. Just talk about our potential. So if we can find balance in the situation, we really truly find our own potential. We can find a sense of equilibrium, look at the truth of the situation, look at the consequences of our actions. It does definitely asks us to acknowledge our potential. And here we've got 8 of poles. It does tell us that things are going to happen quite quickly in the situation. It's going to be quite swift. So that's an interesting thing. So things are going to, so if we can acknowledge our potential, things are going to happen quite quickly. It's all about finding a sense of, let's just remove those. Right, so let's have a look. Colour wise, I don't know if this is really perfect, but it just sort of gives me, I need to throw those in there. There it is. So here we've got union. It's all about that connection, that joining of a relationship. Talks about meeting halfway. And about exceeding our expectations, looking at our potential and exceeding our actual expectations, being able to exceed what we think we're actually capable of. So then I want to look at the symbols on the card. So the first symbol we want to look at is the leaf. I'll call it leaf. Okay, or a feather, should I say. Attempt, game changer, lead with spirit, achievement, pinnacle, guardians, eager, believe, joys, consequences, opportunity, and significant change. Puts quite a lot into it. So that's where that is. Those 2 cards there are talking about a sense that feels like it's a game changer to the situation. It does feel like there is that achievement, that possibility. And this one here has the gate. Which is unlocked. So choices, locked journey, closed off, balance options. So it does feel like as though there was a barrier, but it does feel like it's being opened. It has been solved. It has a resolution to the situation. So that's interesting when you look at it like that. So I quite like that, even though the colours are not perfect. Like I said, I think you can use any deck. I was just looking at different decks that I could feel I could use with it. I definitely like the messages that come through with that. That's interesting. Okay, so my favourite combination, I think I quite like the Healers of the Earth Oracle, the Fairy Forest, the Enchanted Map Oracle, and then I definitely feel as though the Lenormand in this one here, or any of that sort of that sepia toned deck, I think, and the Kipper cards that I've got here, I think they sort of go really well with it too, and they could add another layer, and I think I could use them with even with the other oracle cards as well. So it would be like a 3 deck reading. So I could use a sense of, say, you know, like even the fairy forest with the Lenormand or the Kipper. Pillars of Earth with the Kipper or the Lenormand. Yeah, so definitely feel as though those are the decks. I mean, even though I like this one, I like the messages and that with it, I don't know whether I'd use it that much. I don't know. I may. It does sort of give you that sort of fairy look to it in a way. But anyway, that's me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.